used to keep studying mostly to the morning routine.
Right.
So no matter what, even during watching the lectures, the recorded lectures, I used to wake up at 5:30 and watch these, so
Oh,
that there is no disturbance during the day.
right.
Because I mean, my work was kind of, it goes until 8 or 9, and after that, I would not have been very productive. Uh, Doing it consistently, because you want to be so in touch with the technique that you don't have to put it, apply it effort with effort. It should come very smoothly. The technique, at least for each type of question.
Subconscious level,
Once,
you would say. That's what
yes,
Sir
it should
says.
exactly. It should become subconsciously.
Hi, Vedant. Good morning.
Hello, hi Natasha.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. It's probably very, very early for you today. You're connecting from, I hear from Priyansha from New York today.
Yes, that's right.
In front of us is your score, a total of a 750, a very big congratulations. This was last month, just 2 weeks ago.
Two
Essentially,
weeks ago.
yeah, you have a phenomenal score of a 44 in verbal, 98
Uh-huh.
percentile, and a quant 49, which is 72 percentile, which is good. A total of a 750 in your GMAT. Supremely proud. I can't. All our best wishes from Sandeep sir and from the entire team. Congratulations again. Uh,
Thank you so much.
so very quickly, Vedant, the entire reason why you're here is I want to know how did it all start? How did you kind of get this entire idea of giving GMAT and MBA? Tell us more about yourself, currently what you're doing, and how this score kind of aligns to what you want to do at the end. In terms of the MBA applications.
Sure. So I'm a chartered accountant, right? I started off my journey with EY,
Right.
uh, and I've been there for a couple of years now. And I wanted to pivot into management consulting and then into private equity. So the best path, because these paths generally need a very big network
Right.
for you to, pivot into such stuff. So I thought MBA would be a great option.
Right.
And given that uh, GMAT was the way to begin with, I thought I'll start with my GMAT. I started actually last year in October, where I thought, I'll do some sort of self-preparation and go, but that wasn't really fruitful as such. So then I think around in May this year, I enrolled with Sandeep sir, and then I got to know it's not a test of your intelligence. It's more of practice and your skill and how you can think at that very moment. So I actually rushed in with my GMAT for the first round to make it, to make my application in the first round. But that was sort of a hasty attempt, and now I've given it time, and it's been great. The journey's been great.
So, going back to the flashback, let's say at
Uh-huh,
when you initially probably would have communicated with Priyansha, she may join us in a couple of minutes.
uh-huh.
So at that point, you might, because you were not completely new to GMAT, you said you were preparing
Hmm.
for it. So what had you identified other strengths and at that point of time, and what were the weakness and what were the most challenging section for you? Perhaps you might have also listed it during the first assessment period before you took a demo essentially and
So
you did a small assessment. At that point,
sure,
how did it all start?
sure. So I thought I was fairly prepared when so I undertook a mock test, and I realized that I was relying too much on intuition.
Right.
So that is when I realized that I'm just working, on luck, and let's see if this works out. I think this could be the right answer,
Right.
and that is how I was, and I got a pathetic score. I mean, I even if I had not prepared, I would have been at that score. It was at that level.
Right.
So I thought I might as well take like a structured approach to studying, and that is when I, got in touch with Top 1%. I spoke to Priyansha, and that is how it started. Because so even when I joined top 1%, it was as good as starting from scratch,
That's fake,
because
right?
it was more of intuition than any sort of technique.
Right. More often than not, sometimes because then you've been preparing here in your case, because you obviously had a validation that why this is not right, and why this
Mhm.
particular Sandeep sir, the preparation is in such a way that you attempt the question
Right,
first. Even if you're wrong, you'll get the answer, and that's when you
correct,
accept it. The acceptance part is also one.
right.
So while you were preparing and you started with your preparation, what material and content kind of played that extreme role, like a significant role to get this score that you have today? If you
So the first go-to material was, the class material, and that is how I started off with Sandeep Sir's, method of doing your pre-work, then lecture, and then your post-work. I think that was very good in terms of cementing your understanding of
fun.
technique.
Mm.
And as soon as that gets done, a very structured approach is there to, to solve the 700 to 800 level question. So I did that once, and I felt fairly confident that now I understand either it's the right answer, and if I don't, I know how to approach it in a manner that I get to the right answer.
Correct.
So I did that the first time around. I focused so much on getting things right in the right amount of time that I think in both the sections I had close to 10 minutes to spare.
Mm.
So
Okay.
timing never became an issue then, because it was one of the two. I either knew it, or it had to be a wild guess. There was no way that I could, produce some sort of new understanding.
Right. And overutilize the time. Spend.
Correct. There was, yeah, and the exit strategy also comes in very handy. So I think that's the way to go. So that is why I took two entire days. I took the entire official GMAT prep material, and that is provided the advanced test prep.
The part of the
So 2 days, that is the only thing I did, because I had already solved 700 to 800 level questions. So I
Oh,
had, at the back of your mind, how you're going to approach those questions.
right.
And another problem that I was facing was the long questions in RC. There
Right.
is one big question which has 4 to 5, parts to it.
Right.
So that is where I was taking a lot of time. I had to revisit it again and again. So that is when even the LSAT questions that were provided, they came in very handy, because they are huge questions with 4 to 5 sub questions to it at least.
You're right.
So I think that was a very crucial sort of uh, point, solving the LSAT questions, because then the smaller GMAT RC, they were sort of a cakewalk, because you know exactly where to pinpoint. Sandeep sir has this thing that point your finger on it. If you can keep your finger on it, it's more or less that you've reached the right answer.
Right.
So I think that is where it changed for me, those 2 days of practice for each section. And
So looking back from the time that you started, so say from May to now, right? Close to 4 to 5 months of overall
uh,
preparation. Preparing for GMAT really requires that kind of hard work and that dedicated time. With even your work going on, did you find any kind of off balance, or work is demanding while you could not give GMAT time, something like that, or you always prioritize? You had all those things
no,
set.
I think I had that sorted more or less, because I used to keep studying mostly to the morning routine.
Right.
So no matter what, even during watching the lectures, the recorded lectures, I used to wake up at 5:30 and watch these, so
Oh,
that there is no disturbance during the day.
right.
Because I mean, my work was kind of, it goes until 8 or 9, and after that I would not have been very productive. So I had kept that timetable intact, and I think that really worked out for me.
Because this is one of the things. See, you have the course. Everyone is given, all the students who got this.
Uh,
they're given the same course, they're given the same content. For someone to give the GMAT and get the score, and for someone to not, there's this one factors or few factors that you do separately. So one of the habits that you said, you every single day consistently 5:30 a.m. that you were prepared. So I'm sure there must have been another moving factor also that you probably. What was that kept you moving to actually wake up every morning? Because and then get get this
A
going.
fair question, definitely. So for the first time around, it was a round one deadline
Right,
because I knew that if I wanted to make my application in the first round, I would have to secure my GMAT. So the
right.
first time around, it was more of timeline that drove
Pushed you
me,
there. Right,
and the second time around, it was more of a challenge that
okay.
I don't think I want to keep doing this for a very long time. I
Right.
wanted to get done with it.
Yes.
So
And
I
that's
think that is what, because even so, I have done my CA, and even while doing that, I was very particular that either I do it in one go or I will not pursue it again. So I think, that habit or maybe that sort of mindset that I want to get it done in one go,
right.
that maybe played the factor.
So this is your personal theory about it. Is there one
Mhm.
particular thing from the course, or maybe Sandeep's words, or maybe some other faculty, or even maybe Priyansh, anyone that attributed to that mindset that no key and that score, to get that helped essentially. Let's say that's one of the factors that empowered you to get that score. You would do you remember anything? Or is it, or maybe it's material alone?
Definitely. So when I started off the course, no, so definitely when I started off the course, uh, there's this entire series of Know the World. So I attended that, and
Yes.
every sort of lecture or every sort of session, there was something new to learn every day, and that got my I used to watch it while traveling, whenever I could make the time. So I watched 4 to 5 of them. I sort of binge watched 4 or 5 of the sessions in one go, and
I'm
and
I'm
that is
so
how
glad you
it got to me
I'm very glad that you did it. It's my
because
personal favorite. I mean, I genuinely, you've done it before you started the preparation, and it would have a very different mindset. It'll place you
I was
differently
yeah,
over on
I
all
was
aspects
very
of life.
clear in my mind that this is how I want to proceed. There is no other thing I want to turn my head to right now. And so I think that was one. And second, when I started off reading the material and watching the lectures, it was so on point because the technique they almost never fail.
Yeah,
I,
right,
I mean, I will keep like a 0.001% margin for the very difficult questions, but other than that, I don't think the techniques will ever fail you if you follow them right. And also, I mean, inherently, it becomes second nature to you to eliminate the wrong choices because the first approach that all students, including me, what uh, I think we do is we look for the right answer, but eliminating the wrong ones is so much easier than looking for the right one. I think that was a very game-changing technique that I followed in almost everything. So even quants, I knew that there will be questions that I will not be able to solve,
you're right,
but I will at least know, that the wrong ones I will be able to figure out.
right.
Although this is not a technique that Sandeep sir teaches, but there were few questions even during the attempt that I could not figure out, but I had to, exit those questions. So
So,
even to come to sort of, to deduce at least from these two choices, which is the best one, I think elimination is the way to go for GMAT.
right. I mean, at this point, I think I've spoken to few others as well who had this score. And one thing that Sandeep so often says that you will 100% of the time will never get to the right answer, but you will
Right.
100% of the time have to make an effort to get to the wrong answer. And that is
That
guaranteed.
was exactly.
So and that's the way forward in all his methods. He first deduces the wrong option,
Definitely.
then to get the right
Definitely.
one, and more often than not. So again, on the test day, let's just move forward on the day that on the exam day, there was any kind of unfamiliarity, something that, some question that you took a lot of time, or time was a problem? You mentioned that time wasn't a problem, pressure wasn't the situation, or wasn't the case. You had a very wise strategy towards this. But anything odd on the exam day that you felt, especially this time around?
I think this one was very smooth for verbal because verbal it seemed so friendly to me that I was certain that I'm doing it right. Even at the most difficult questions, I could figure out that this is the trap that they're trying to set.
Right.
So I think uh,
It was very
I
smooth.
was so happy with my verbal attempt that I just knew that I would be crossing a 40, 41, 41 for sure. I was very certain because it was going great and I had 10 minutes to spare.
Right.
And so
Incredible. Incredible.
immediately I knew that, I mean, there was no scope for error over there.
Looking back at your preparation, what, if at all, if you look back and just say that, what is that one thing that, let's say if you want to refer to someone, any of your friends or anybody that you would like to speak to, one thing that you should have done and you must do in your preparation, and one thing that you should definitely avoid. Like you've mentioned quite a lot of things, but if you just put it in points, probably, that would be better.
Definitely. So a few things you should definitely do is one is to stay consistent. I think I
Okay.
cannot
Stress more
put
on.
more stress more on that. Doing it consistently because you want to be so in touch with the technique that you don't have to put it, apply it with effort. It should come very smoothly. The technique, at least for each type of question.
Subconscious level,
Once,
you would say. That's what
yes,
Sir
it should
says.
exactly. It should become subconsciously. So that is one thing I think consistency will get you to any score I think you want because that is the only key. You solve because even the 2 day marathons, I was so tired. I was like, now I think I know even after day one, but
Right,
I knew that in the back of my mind that that place where you reach that you think and there will be sort of 5 questions in line which will go wrong,
right.
and so
Well,
you have to put in that effort.
yeah.
And I think the marathons really worked well for me, the 2 day. And one thing you should definitely avoid, I would say, to think that you don't need to follow the technique always.
Mm,
Like, there'll be some RC passages that you think okay, I know that this is exactly a paraphrase.
right,
But I never, relied on that okay, because it seems very direct to me, I will just mark that answer. I always, in the practice stage, I always, sort of try to eliminate, uh,
with
even
read.
in sentence correction, because Sandeep sir definitely says that you should, in the first 200 to 50 practice questions, you should write why each option is wrong.
Right.
So I would not write it down, but in my mind, I would always make a map that these are the 2 reasons or 3 reasons why this option will not fly.
Right, right. So,
So
Vedant, it's just so I'm really happy to hear your journey, because one of the key factors that I hear from a lot of students who don't give GMAT, and they talk about inconsistency, they have so many other reasons to give in. You're definitely an example to stay put with, just be, when you said that, you don't want to do this too long, and you had this one rush thing that, you rushed through the round one. Okay, sometimes you have to play really wisely, but at least there was something that pushed you, and you made sure that you were consistent every single day. Now these are good qualities that any aspirant should really ensure that they have in your preparation, because then the
definitely,
course is exactly the same, right? These are few factors,
exactly.
and you genuinely are an inspiration, I would say. Hats off.
Thank you
750
so
is
much.
a
Thank you so much.
remarkable score. It's an absolutely fantabulous score. Now, what next for you? Have you applied in the round one, or are you planning to apply in the round two? And what are you seeing?
Now
What's
I will be applying in round two. So I'm just starting out that strategy, which schools to,
right?
apply to,
Right.
and figuring out the entire story that I want to put forth to the adcoms.
What are your
So
target schools, given that you're from CFA, I mean CA background? Are you looking to be in the finance itself in any
no,
particular,
I think I will pivot into management consulting for a couple of years.
right?
So consulting heavy schools, I think I will be after. Obviously, I will give M7 a
M7.
shot definitely.
Yes, yes.
Uh, and but the top 10, I think I want to target only the top 10 or 12 schools perhaps.
It's a fantastic season also now that you're applying. I don't know if you did get a chance to be visiting the school, but then that
I
really,
actually did. I met a couple of folks from Stern and
right.
Columbia. I had coffee chats with them, and
It. I mean, we have one of our old faculty plus a student who is a current student at Stern, Vinod as well,
okay,
his final year, and we had an ex student, but she's not studied in Columbia. She studied in Duke, but she's working for McKinsey and staying at Vinitatre. In any case, if you're there, you should really, because these guys, they will oblige, because they were a part of top 1%. You should really connect. I'm just
definitely,
opening that channel for you to be able to apply.
definitely, definitely,
They'll be more than happy to kind of help you with anything that you need while you are there. But yes, you should
definitely,
also maybe make a visit while you're in the East Coast. Maybe look at Howard or even Wharton or all the MIT schools. The M7 is also there. Quite a
definitely,
lot of schools right there, just around. So you should
right.
make
That's
some
right.
visit and visit the school. You'll definitely get a feel for it if you haven't done already. But Vedant, thank you so much for connecting today, this morning, and at a very short notice. And I'm really rooted to see you get an admit. And in case if you need any help, I don't know if you've connected with Autry or Ranjika from our admission team. If not, do take,
Uh-huh.
I mean, attend one of the sessions tomorrow. We do have an info session with Autry. I'll ask Priyansha to share the details in case if you're free, just attend the session. Just gives you a little perspective around your
Oh,
application. Yeah, in case, however you'd
oh,
like.
sure. Then that'll be great. That'll be helpful.
Super.
That'll be great.
Please let us know whenever you get the admit. Share it with me. Share it with Priyansha, and we'll be very very happy when we see that kind of
Sure,
progress. A
definitely,
very small part that we played in that dream that you're looking to. It just we feel very elated. Thank you so much.
definitely. All thanks to top 1%.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vedant. You have a
Thank you
lovely
so
day
much,
ahead.
Natasha.
Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Bye.